The Orangery at Sewerby Hall was designed by the Hull architect Henry F. Lockwood and was added to the house by Yarburgh Greame in about 1842. As its name suggests, it would have been used for growing oranges. In fact, we know from other accounts that in the 19th century the Lloyd Greames would often present gifts of presumably homegrown oranges to patients in the Lloyd Hospital and inmates of the Bridlington Workhouse. The orange trees themselves, as well as any other exotic plants, would have been grown in pots and moved outside during the summer, at which time it was not uncommon for orangeries to take on a social function and the space be used for summer parties, balls and wet weather games. In architectural terms, the Orangery at Sewerby Hall is a fairly typical example. The south-facing wall comprises of large sash windows between narrow brick piers, designed to maximise sunlight and warmth. The northern wall, by contrast, is built in brick. This is a feature that distinguishes orangeries from conservatories, as the latter are completely walled by glass. The roof of the orangery, however, is a triumph. Lockwood used the new technology of gently curving, slender cast-iron beams to construct a shallow, barrel-vaulted roof, unencumbered by trusses or columns. The result is delicate and light. Behind the northern wall were a series of rooms. To the west was a gentleman's smoking room. Originally only accessible from the billiard room, it had two large windows that looked out onto the orangery, one of which has since been turned into a door, and of the other only the upper part remains. In the centre, in the space now occupied by the toilets, was a boiler room for heating the building, and next to it the gardener's workshop. Beyond this, in an area now used for storage, was a fernery, a reflection of the obsessive Victorian fashion for growing and keeping ferns, which contemporaries described as fern fever, or the more scientific-sounding pterodomania, as the novelist Charles Kingsley called it in 1855. In 1934, Yarburgh Lloyd Greame sold the house to Bridlington Corporation and auctioned much of the contents. Amongst the lots in the Orangery, there were 17 aspidistras, 23 arum lilies, 30 Indian azaleas, 24 hydrangeas, 2 palms, 6 ferns, 6 hanging baskets, 8 cypresses, and a further 23 unspecified greenhouse plants, all of them in pots. The new owners, Bridlington Corporation, had no need for an orangery, and the building was converted for use as a cafe. It remained as such till World War II, when it was transformed into a hospital ward by the insertion of a ceiling and the covering of its glass roof in asphalt. After the war, it returned to use as a cafe, but it was in a poor state of repair and unrecognisable as the World War II alterations had not been removed. It was eventually fully restored in 1993 and again during the house refurbishment in 2013-14. And today, fully restored to its former glory, it is used as a venue for, amongst other things, concerts, weddings and cream teas.